Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Know who's ready for some fighting words. This video, I want to do a recap of the Baumgardner Mayer fight. First and foremost, let me just start with saying I feel like there needs to be a rematch. Before we go any further, I just feel like there needs to be a rematch, and I'm about to have a little rant, so just bear with me. I do I think the right person won? I feel like honestly, I wouldn't have been mad either way it went. And that's why I feel like there needs to be a rematch. If it would have been Mayer who won, I wouldn't have been angry. It's Alycia won. I'm not angry. But I also feel a certain way when it comes to champions. I feel like you need to beat people up. Like when they have, once an individual gets a belt, like you can't just be like, oh, well, two judges said this or whatever. I feel like you need to beat the champ. And I don't really feel like that was a beating. I don't really feel like in order for me to be settled and okay with the decision, I feel like I needed to see one of the competitors like walk out of there with their head down like, man, I didn't give it my all, or man, she was just better. You know, when you look at Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, the first thing Savannah Marshall said was she's just better than me. She beat me, she outclassed me, and she said she is the GOAT. Mikaela Mayer didn't say anything along those lines. Mikaela Mayer thought she won. Mikaela Mayer was mad that she didn't win. And I think that alone warrants a rematch. I do. I think that warrants a rematch. Now, yes, Alycia said that there won't be a rematch. She wants to go and unify and be undisputed. However, I think a lot of that has to do with her hatred for Mikaela Mayer, to be honest with you. And I think I think a lot of that is pettiness. I hope somebody in her camp would just say, you know, you really need to go run that back with that girl. Like, you need to go run that back with that girl. Like I said, I'm not mad that she won. My issue is I wouldn't be mad if Mikaela Mayer won as well. And that's why I feel like that needs to be ran back. And honestly, those two together are electric. They are money. They could easily be the main event of any card. Like all the drama they stirred up, I kind of feel like they stole the show from Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. Because Savannah Marshall, you know, she has a little banter and she'll say little things back, but she's not like Mikaela Mayer, and she's definitely not like Alycia Baumgardner. So that's just my thoughts on that. I need to see somebody feel as if they lost. And the reality is I didn't feel Mikaela Mayer felt she lost. And again, Devin Haney, George Kambosos knew he lost. And he was okay with that because he said, this man's just a better fighter than I am. He was okay with that. Even though he raised his hands in the end, he went to the locker room of Devin Haney and said, no, you're just a better man. You're just a better fighter. You're a better boxer than I am. And he admitted that. Mikaela Mayer's not doing any of that. So therefore, I feel like they need to run that back. And quite frankly, I feel like a rematch with these two, number one, they end up headlining a card. And number two, I think it's even bigger. Like, could you imagine those two in Vegas? I think it's even bigger. Well, they'd probably do it over back in the UK again, just simply because UK women's boxing. I feel like UK supports women's boxing a lot more than America does. But I really feel like those two easily could sell out an arena. Just those two could easily sell out an arena. And I feel like Alycia is doing herself a disservice by not entertaining the rematch. I just think it's great for the sport. I definitely think it's great for women's boxing. But I feel like if she really wants to solidify herself as the champ, I feel like she needs to run that back. Like I said, I'm not mad that she won. But I feel like she needs to cement that win in stone. That's my issue with that win. It's like Canelo and Triple G. I personally believe that Triple G won the first fight. There are people who believe Triple G won the second fight, Teddy Atlas. So Canelo needed to do that third fight. He needed to do that third fight. because it was only right. There's too many people like myself and Teddy Atlas clamoring and whispering that it was unfair for him to continue. So he needed to do that third fight. I feel like Alycia Baumgardner needs to run that back with Mikaela. I don't know. I just think that's too much money to walk away from. I don't feel like she's going to get that much chemistry with anybody else. That's a lot of chemistry. You only come around that. You only run into that every once in a blue moon. You know, like you only run into that every once in a blue moon, unless you're just that electrifying within yourself. If you're an Ali, Frazier isn't anybody great on the mic, but when placed with Ali, he turned into something. You know, but Ali's so electrifying by himself, he doesn't need anybody. Floyd Mayweather is so electrifying by himself, he doesn't need anybody. I feel like Mikaela and Baumgardner, they definitely need to run that back. And I feel like they're gold together. But also, it'll just stop the clamoring lips, because I feel like that's coming. And now, and we don't want it to look like, oh, you're scared to run that back. Because if you're scared to run that back, then that means you don't really think you won that first one, do you? Because if now her argument would simply just be, no, I just want to unify. There's nothing wrong with that. But maybe you unify, then you run it back. Because now there's more at stake. There's more on the line. And then you run it back. I'm not mad at that either. You go on and do your thing and you reach for glory. Mara goes back to the drawing board. Maybe she gets a win under her belt. And then you follow it up next year and you do it again. But I think it does need to happen again. I'm sorry. I think it does need to happen again. Overall, though, I am really happy for Alycia Baumgardner, and I just can't wait to see more of her and to see her evolve, because I feel like she's still growing. And yes, she's been fighting since she was 8, but I feel like she's starting to come into her own and she's starting to peak. So I really am excited to see what's going to happen in the future. And there's a lot of girls coming up and coming out to the sport of boxing. And pretty soon there's going to be a lot of opponents to fight. And the pool is only getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So the reality is, I think she has a lot of good fights on the horizon. I really do think she has a lot of great fights on the horizon. But before I let you guys go, I think they need to run that back. I'm not shy on saying that. I think they need to run that back. I think it's only right that they run that back. I think we need to see that again. And I think we need to get a 100% definitive winner. And those are my thoughts. As always, please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel.